Hello everyone, I'm Adam the Fanatic. From now on, I'm going to try and get my reviews out on the 14th and 28th of each month. However, 2 weeks seems like a long time to keep everybody in the dark, so I'm going to do these short little vlogs to pass the time. So they'll not always be about video games, but they will always pertain to something nerdy. Today's subject, DLC. To DLC or not to DLC? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to unleash greatness in a single moment, or showeth an unfinished foundation, and upon it build stone by stone. Indeed, there's certainly no shortage in the number of different ways that DLC is approached, and each of these methods produces equally numerous opinions on the matter. I don't know when DLC first began as a practice, but I know that my first exposure to the concept was through Neverwinter Nights. The game had 2 full expansion packs, in addition had 6 premium modules. Adventure Pack DLC, basically. At first, I loved the idea, extending the life of a game beyond its initial release, and I had already been exposed to a similar concept through expansion packs. Playing my father's copy of Neverwinter Nights Diamond Edition, I already had access to the first 3 premium modules, and I eagerly bought the other half: Pirates of the Sword Coast, Infinite Dungeons, and Wyvern Crown of Cormyr. Fast forward several years to when GameSpy closed down their servers. Multiplayer was still fine, as Direct Connect has always been an option in Neverwinter. However, accessing premium modules is not so simple. Every time you try to play one, it will attempt to phone home, but there is no home to phone anymore. Now, one could argue that this is just a problem of DRM, not DLC. However, there's no legal way to download them anymore, so the only options are to either buy them again through the Enhanced Edition, or to give new meaning to the phrase Pirates of the Sword Coast. Now you can argue that I've had a view tainted by a bad experience, and there may be some truth to that. However, let's look beyond this one incident. This is the inevitable fate of all companies. Now, I'm not saying that Valve, Activision, Electronic Arts, or Nintendo is going to go out of business anytime soon. However, if you take all the different major gaming companies, line them up together, chances that at least one of them is going to go out of business within your lifetime is practically 1-to-1. Now, I know that Steam has promised that they will release a DRM remover if they ever go out of business. However, if they're already going out of business, how would you possibly actually hold them to that promise? And believe it or not, even free DLC can have similar problems. Just hear me out, there's a right and a wrong way to go about it. On the right side of the spectrum, we have StarCraft, which released 2 small campaigns for free, Precursor and Enslavers 2. These were, and still are, freely downloadable maps for the game. If Blizzard were to go down tomorrow, you could still copy them from anyone who has them and play them just the same as you would today. But free DLC doesn't always work like that. Here I have a copy of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. As many of you are already well aware, the online services for the Wii and DS shut down a while back. And many titles on these consoles had DLC, much of it for free. And yet now, these are forever incomplete experiences. If I start a new game of Shadow Dragon, there is no way for me to obtain the Brave weapons now. And anyone that buys the game now or in the future will never be able to experience them at all. It's counterproductive for the long-term health of these games. And there you have it. These are the reasons that I'm opposed to DLC. Now, does that mean that I never buy it? No, I've recently purchased both the Mandate of Heaven and A World Betrayed DLCs for Total War 3 Kingdoms. However, I am both wary and weary of it as a practice. And thus does DLC make cowards of us all. Thank you for listening to my small rant. Join me next week and I'll be looking at Earthlock, a throwback to classic JRPGs like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, and Dragon Warrior. Can it live up to such a lofty lineage? Join me next week on YouTube to find out. So what are your thoughts on DLC? Love it? Hate it? Maybe you have some middle ground on the subject. Whatever they are, leave it in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.